one loose because the Patriots also have Rex Burkhead is likely out, Philip Dorsett is out, Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman, and I want to say one of their offensive linemen are all three questionable for tonight.
So are we calling this the MASH Bowl?
This is more of a this is more of a bad weather bowl that I don't want really anything to do with. I originally had Josh Gordon for this game. I think I may actually be pulling him out and putting in someone else this week.
So what's your score on this one? Lewis and I will have time to mess around with the score later.
For me on this game, I think that with how good that New England defense is, I'm saying I'll be a little optimistic for the Giants. I'll say that they lose 24 to 10.
What about you? I'll let you say yours now.
I'm not being that generous. I mean, I'm gonna say like 35 to 10. I think Brady's gonna have a big game. I mean, I'm reading it right here. This is the largest differential in wins between two starting quarterbacks in NFL history. Brady's 212 wins to Daniel Jones's 2, the largest such mark in NFL history. I know experience and tenure plays into that, but I don't know. I mean, last time they played, it was a 17-12 game. I don't know. I mean, just with how bad the Giants are now, and I understand Jones looks to be promising moving forward, but I just don't want to question Brady, who's 11-1 on Thursday Night Football in his career. He's pretty much put up an MVP caliber season in his time in football. I think it's going to be a massacre tonight.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll concur with Lewis, but I'll go 33-3.
Ooh, wow, limiting him to just a field goal?
33-3. Yeah, you talked about defensive game. Again, these are predictions. We're not nothing's etched in stone. Listen, when the time comes when we get all this stuff right, we'll all be rich. All you guys, right?
And Ryan, I'm being generous there because the Patriots are averaging. They've allowed 34 points through their first 5 games this year. That's a little under 7 points a game. So the fact that I'm even saying that Daniel Jones may even either throw a touchdown or if he uses his legs and runs one in, I'm being a little generous there. But again, we'll see what happens. This game's about to start right now. So
yeah, I understand. Again, I'm going with the fact that with the weather, I think that it may slow down New England just a little bit. And again, being generous with the Giants possibly getting to 10 points. Again, I think that's more of a someone gets loose because the defense falls with the weather being what it is.
All right. Any other thing you want to add before we bring on UK?
I think that's it. I think that's all I got.
All right, well, that's plenty up for us. So, all right, Ryan, we'll get it rolling next week. Candy and I will be up in Jacksonville against with the Jaguars and the Saints. We'll give you our takes on that. Anything you want to add before he goes?
That's it, Ryan. I mean, good talking to you. Always fun to hear your fantasy takes.
All right, Ryan, you go ahead and take care of business with the kids, and we got a assembly line of guests rolling, and we're just getting this program started. Once again,
all right.
The Sports
As
Exchange.
always, it's fun to be on with you guys.
Oh, we love having you, Ryan.
Awesome, man.
Thank you very much, and we'll definitely be in touch. Have a great football weekend, Ryan.
You too.
All right.
All right, take care.
Good night. All right, so what are your thoughts right now about what we've seen so far? Are you, because of him, okay, do you plan to make any changes to your lineup?
No, I mean, I don't have anybody going in either of those games. I don't believe I have anybody on the Patriots or the Giants, but, and none of the names that were mentioned, A.J. Green's not on my team. He hasn't even played this year, and I've heard a lot of people say his numbers are declining, and if they're going to trade him, and I've read Zach Taylor's comments that there's no way they're going to trade him right now, I'd argue that he needs to play a couple of games to establish some value, because if you're not on the field, that's really going to diminish. For a Bengals team that's 0-5 and they have a quarterback in Andy Dalton who's a lot older, you're going to want to have to trade and get at least maybe a second-round pick for A.J. Green, given the fact that he has been in the league for nearly a decade now. He's not the same player he once was, though, numbers like his completion, his catch percentage is actually relatively solid. I think give him a couple games to play, get his feet wet, give him to be healthy, and I think that'll benefit the Bengals if they were to trade him moving forward.
We're talking about football. UK's due on in a few minutes, but we're putting you to work over the weekend, man. I hope you don't have any dates on Saturday.
No, we got some FAU football, Middle Tennessee coming up, 4 o'clock game down in Boca, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, what are your thoughts about being able to cover your first college game?
Well, it's going to be exciting. I mean, doing these radio shows are fun, and that's going to be even more fun. Just another thing to add to the resume of the growing career of me in the sports world. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. You know why? You're the one who's got to file on Deadly, and I don't. All I got to do is make sure you're on track, man.
Yeah, I'll be putting together notes throughout that entire game. I'll have a spreadsheet open with numbers, and then I'm just going to keep reading storylines. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun game. Hopefully FAU pull it out under the lane train.
Well, I hope so. And the irony about this whole thing, too, Lewis, is the first time I ever covered an FAU game was ironically against Middle Tennessee State. Now, I'll give you a little bit of trivia here, okay? Now, I covered them at Lockhart Stadium on the same day that Michigan got upset by Appalachian State in Ann Arbor. And let me tell you, the difference in the crowds were like 90,000 people.
Yeah, well, Lockhart down in Old Fort Lauderdale, right where the Yankees used to spring train, I believe, correct?
Yeah, and I drove by that recently, and it got leveled. So
yeah, not the same anymore.
They're putting some soccer complex in there that David Beckham wants. We're not talking soccer. But
yeah,
still.
no.
But no, I guess my point to you is it's ironic that you're going to cover an FAU Middle Tennessee State game as I did the first time I ever covered Florida Atlantic against Middle Tennessee State.
I mean, I'm obviously following your lead, so it's just a gradual chain of progression and appropriate for what game we're doing on Saturday. So
well, I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be fun, and I'm excited to actually get to sit in the press box. Maybe see Frank Fort. I'm not going to go up all googly-eyed and say hi to him, but it's going to be fun, man. Going to cover some football. It'll be fun.
Well, yeah, he has his own booth.
Absolutely.
I don't think he'll be looking. But for you, it's a good experience.
Yeah,
I remember the first time I ever got in a press box. I did many, many years ago, but once you get acclimated to it, you're there, you zone everything out, and you do what you got to do. So it's going to be a wonderful experience for you. And, hopefully if everything works out, you'll have another opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to do it. I trust me, it ain't going to be the only time, I hope, because, I'm put together something good for that game, get it out there, see what the world thinks about it.
Well, that's okay. We'll make sure we get it out there. But your first act will be over the weekend. Bear in mind, FAU is starting to have a much better program.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty Smith was, once upon a time, a Tennessee Titan. Alfred Morris came from there. Devin Singletary's with the Buffalo Bills.
Mm-hmm.
Lester Jean, I believe, went ahead and played for the Houston Texans for a while. And we're not going to get into all of them, but just to let you know that FAU does produce some prospects.
Yes, they do.
And the older the program gets, I believe it's in good hands on Lane Kiffin.
Absolutely. Sure, that first year he had with them was amazing. He turned them into a legitimate football team. They were getting games on Fox, and they were a football team that people were actually talking about outside of the state of Florida. And in the context of universities like Florida State and UM that have this prize history, football winning, and obviously the Bobby Bowden legacy over there in Florida State,
right.
The Tim Tebow days in 06, 07. It's nice to see FAU getting some recognition, also given the fact that it is my alumni, so my alma mater.
Well, yeah, my alma mater is South Florida, but I have a passion for both USF as well as FAU. I've worked with FAU for a long time.
Yeah,
and I have and they're a good distribution partner for your for the South Florida Tribune, and they contribute with us all the time. So yeah, I think it'll be good for you to get out there, and you're going to be covering all of them. Mm-hmm. You'll get to a couple of basketball games with me just to get a feel for it.
Yeah, those. I mean, that relationship with the university, which is what you're kind of discussing, is important because obviously it can lead to other things, and those connections that you establish with those people, can help progress us forward as we go along.
Well, if everything goes according to plan, if I have my way, you're probably going to be covering a lot of FAU baseball situations.
Oh, I hope so. I mean,
I might be able to get you in there, and you'll probably cover quite a few of those games for sure.
That'd be another dream of mine.
What, to cover FAU baseball?
Absolutely. I mean, Anthony Rizzo was committed to go there. Look where he is now, first baseman for the Chicago
Cubs. It's a good program. But with that said, we got UK coming on. All right, well, we have UK Anthony Wood live here on the Sports Exchange here on the South Florida Tribune Broadcasting Network. And Anthony, welcome back to the show. How you doing, buddy?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
No, we're doing very good. We're talking about FAU football before you came on board. But now we're going to talk about some inside information that you'd like to progress. And then we're going to ask you to come up with the name of a bowl game for the Miami Dolphins and the Washington Redskins at the tail end of your segment, okay?
Absolutely.
So go ahead.
So let's kick off with the Patriots. They have just kicked off. There are 14-12 left to go in the first quarter. Still 0-0 between them and the Giants. Some updates on that game. Rex Burkhead and Philip Dorsett are both out for Patriots with injuries. Giants had to promote running back Austin Walter to the active roster, and in your corresponding move, they've had to release QB Alec Tanney. This is because both Saquon Barkley and his backup are out tonight. They are going to be running with their third-string rookie running back tonight. So it's not looking too good for them, especially when you throw in the fact that Evan Engram and Sterling Shepard are both out as well for the Giants tonight. So obviously, Jones is coming. Daniel Jones will see first-round rookie. A lot is expected of him over in New York. He's coming off of a relatively poor game against the Vikings, and he needs to rely a lot more on Golden Tate tonight. He only had 13 yards on 3 receptions. So they need to try and get some more out of him tonight if they're going to get anything out of this game. Because let's be honest, the Patriots are going into this as heavy favourites. Obviously 5-0 at this point in time. Their defense has looked solid in every possible way at this point in time. So it's going to be an extremely tough game for the Giants there. So that's going to be something to keep a close eye on. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the game, and of course, and how many points do you think the Patriots could realistically rack up tonight? Because I think it's safe to say they will probably win.
Well, I told Ryan Skillroot before you came on, I thought it was 33-3. I think that the Patriots are going to annihilate the Giants. Your inclement weather is part of the forecast, so I'll stick with that. Go ahead. What do you want?
I gave him a forecast of about 35-10. And that's being generous considering how good the Patriots' defense has been this year. They've allowed just 34 points in the first 5 games of the season, less than 7 points a game. But I think Daniel Jones, given the fact that he's a dual threat, I think he's maybe either going to reach Golden Tate for one in the end zone, or maybe he'll use his legs and do what he's done already 3 times this year and run one in himself. So, I'm being a little generous, but again, I don't expect the Giants to do much in this game. I think it's going to be a blowout, as all 3 of us can kind of concur on. It's going to be an ugly game, man. Brady's just going to put up another Thursday night, gem in a career that's already been, full of gems with all the accolades that we can list. But, yeah, tonight's going to be ugly, man. 35-10, I'm calling it.
What about you, Anthony?
I'm going to go ahead and say 32-6. But, again, something that, weighs against Daniel Jones here is that Brady at this point in his career is still 11-0 against rookie QBs, which is a ridiculous stat. But I think that says it all, doesn't it, about the stability of that Patriots organization and their consistency since the Belichick-Brady era really kicked off. So I think it's safe to say we know which way it's going to go tonight. It's just a case of how many points they can actually put up on the board.
Well, all 3 of us seem to think it's over 30, so 32, 33, what did you say?
35-10.
Right, so we're in the 30s, and I like 33-3 because 33 is my lucky number, and then why not tack on another 3 and it keeps it within the ballpark. It's not like one of those things where we're talking about a previous Super Bowl matchup that was close that the Giants eked out. This is a much different situation.
2 different teams now, yeah.
Well, Giants, 2 different teams.
They've got almost 4 minutes off the clock, and it's currently scoreless, but first and 10 out of the Giants, 18, so the Patriots are in control.
Okay, well, that's okay. Let's keep control over the next topic, and that's A.J. Green trade, okay? Give us your take on it, and then I'll tell you what I think and what Lewis does.
Yeah, we've spoken about this briefly before, about the potential for A.J. Green, obviously the star receiver for the Cincinnati Bengals. Is he going to be traded? Is he not? There's a lot of uncertainty about the future of the Bengals themselves in Cincinnati as well. Now, A.J. Green he's returned to training in a very limited fashion. He's still nowhere near ready to play yet. He has said, I'm prepared for anything regarding a potential trade before the October 29th deadline. He said, a trade's not going to change who I am. I'm still going to play. I'm still going to be AJ. But he did tell the team's website recently, I want the team records. I want more Pro Bowls. I want all that. So when I leave here, there's going to be a standard. And he was talking about being compared to Fitzgerald, and he appreciates that, the one-team mentality of some players. And I don't necessarily get the vibe from him that he is desperate to leave at this point in time, but you certainly couldn't criticize him for thinking about it, if we're being honest, if you consider quite how poor the Bengals have been consistently the last few years. So it's an interesting situation. They could still trade him. I don't necessarily see that happening this year, personally, but I certainly wouldn't say it's out of the realm of possibility at this point in time. There's no real rumors going on at this point in time as to potential destinations, so it's gone quite quiet.
Well, as I mentioned, Ryan, Zach Taylor said he's not being traded. So, that's what the coach is saying. What the front office is another story, but if the coach doesn't feel that he should be traded, I'm sure his opinion does matter this early in the game at this particular point. But that situation is an outright mess, if we talked about it before. So, all right. So, give me an update on Patrick Mahomes.
Yes, absolutely. Ahead of their long-awaited matchup against the Texans, it could be a real shootout, sort of a battle of the fittest there. I mean, look at those two QBs. They have two of the best young QBs in the league, if not the two best young QBs. It's going to be an unbelievable game if all goes to plan. And Mahomes has said his ankle feels good, but it's not perfect. He has returned to practice, to my knowledge. But they have two offensive linemen, both starting linemen, to my knowledge, again.